Welcome to our live design masterclass. Lovely to have your company. I'm Vicki. Going to be introducing to you an amazing textured hammered necklace. Thanks to, of course, the amazing creativity of the gorgeous Laura Binding. You've been busy.
I have, yes.
An amazing quality that you've given to this neckline piece.
Yeah.
And it is all about adding texture, not just about the quality of the gems, which of course are part of the feature, and many of your neckline pieces and wristwear pieces very much focus upon larger gemstones being the icon, the centerpiece of your jewellery. And here you haven't just gone to town, you've gone really to town, because we've got 3 feature stones that then become almost the work of art that you've almost it's like the epicenter. It feels like it continues on with sweeping, swirling. But for me, I want to know where did it come from? Where was the thoughts on this one?
Well, to be honest with you, I was sort of just sitting and having a play about, and I've discovered that the really thick wire goes through these gemstones, and then that enabled me then to just play about with the shape, and then I just expanded from that, really. Just play and just put the wires together and just see what works and texture, and then it just sort of formed itself.
And one of the interesting things, I guess, about having the larger gemstones is then you then have the larger drill holes to then have the adaptability of getting a design that has structure but also depth as well.
Yeah, it also means that you can keep it quite minimal. I mean, there's only 3 main stones being used there, but because you've got that strong wire holding it all together, you don't really need to do too much around it. So really, it's all about keeping it strong and structural, really.
And it's certainly achieved in this piece, but we've called it the textured and hammered necklace because actually that's exactly what we're going to focus on and the tools that we've got to work with today. And in particular, we have some brand new offers for us to be able to give you. Today, it's all about adding different tools to give different results to your jewellery. And in particular, if you've already got the flat hammer, then it might be worth you getting this multi-head hammer to really add detail. And that's what we really have to highlight is that within this design, we're talking about one specific tool giving lots of different opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot, because it's got the interchangeable heads, it's got like a plastic one, which means that you can hammer the wire without marking it. The head itself is obviously smaller, which means that you can use it to create more intricate designs, and it's just got a lot more versatility, really.
And it can not only is it that both heads interchangeable, but you also can change the angle on one of the heads as well. So if you want to add an extra level of hammering or detail, you can change the actual angle of the head as well on this tool.
There's like a sort of tapered, long, thin. It creates almost like a chip effect when you use it, and then there's like a little nut, so you can just adjust the angle of how it actually sits. You can have it straight, or like you say, at different angles, or going horizontal. So yeah, it's just covers everything.
It is a multifunctional tool, that's for sure. It literally is everything you need in adding detail, texture. And textures are so important to jewellery. You know, one of the nicest parts about a tool like this is that by doing just a very small detail of texture, you're adding another layer to the finishing touch of your jewellery. And actually that could be the difference between it looking good and looking great. It looking man-made and beautifully crafted, but actually going to that master crafted look that you want to achieve. And that's why you tune into these live masterclasses. And if you have any questions, for the master today, or should you, mistress, delete is appropriate. You have here, of course, an amazing craft lady. And literally, wire is something that you've worked with for so long that hopefully, if we've got a question, you should be able to answer it. So
we'll definitely have a go.
Exactly. 60777 is where you text your questions into. So if you do have any questions for us, start your text with JM Studio. Now look, you don't have to be a master to ask a question. You don't have to be somebody who has developed their techniques and is now in that riddle of a problem. You might be just getting started. You might be just on the very cusp of beginning wire, and you might want to know what's the best wire to work with, or what are the tools that you would, Laura would advise to use to get started. Those are the things that we'll happily answer within this live show. It is a live show for the very reason that we want you to be interactive with us. So please, if you have a question, we'll happily answer them by the end of the show. So JM Studio is where you start your text. Your normal network charges do apply, and it's 60777 where you text into. I know it says between 9 and 1, but of course that is only applicable to our day show. It is now just got 2 o'clock and we are live again 2 till 3. So please ask those questions as you wish. So it's all about the tool. It's all about this central tool in particular, about adding detail to the hammered textured necklace that you're going to achieve by the end of this showcase. We're adding in alongside this bundle, we are also adding your Comfort Grip side cutting pliers. Now these are applicable to be used on all of our gauges of wire, and that's something that's really important as well. You know, you do get wire cutters within our toolkits, but if you're going to go to the larger gauges, these are certainly more of the professional tools that we would request that you use. Just because you don't want to blunt your smaller tools, you may as well get your professional tools alongside in this bundle. You've got your multi-head hammer. You have also got your Comfort Grip side cutting pliers, and to add in one more offer, if you're working with your coloured wires, or actually if you're working with any wire, just to protect it and look after it, nylon pliers are certainly advised by many of our technicians, because those nylon pliers really do make a difference to adding detail, but without hindering on the finishing look of the jewellery. So you have got here, I can't even hold them all, there's so many in one bundle. 3 of your big wire tools of the moment, the ones that you need to get that professional edge to your jewellery. These are all going to be shown how to be used by Laura within this demonstration. So if you want a step-by-step instruction, you need to have step-by-step tools to work alongside it as well. So make sure that you're ready to get this one, because we are about to give you an absolute deal and a half. You should be paying well over £20 on this deal, should be over 20. Oh! Masterclass special price tag. Now this is an exclusive price deal. You've got an opportunity to get professional looking jewellery by using professional tools, but without having to pay those professional tool prices. You've got it all for £12.95. And whether you're just getting started or perhaps you're well and truly into wire work, it doesn't matter. You want to have the right tool for the right job, and that's what you've got for £12.95. I can't believe we can go so low on so many essential tools. I mean, it is a masterclass exclusive. I will say this one more time. We will give you this deal for now only. I can only honour this price tag within this live masterclass. Outside of that, it's a goner. It will not be this price again. If you're going to get it, you get it today at £12.95. I cannot honour that price tag any other time than within this masterclass. So make the purchase now. And Laura, working with tools, not just with the hammer, but working with professional tools that are designed by professionals for professionals. And actually, one of the things is even if you're just getting started, you want to work with the right tool, because that's then going to give you that extra finish for all of the aspects of your jewellery making. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always say essential, and I always say if I'm ever doing anything, always give me nylon pliers, because I've got about 2 or 3 pairs at home, because you know I use them so often, whether it's just to straighten wire, whether it's to not mark the wire, and also they're actually a little bit stronger because they can grip the wire a bit better than plain ones, and you can get a good spiral and things. So they are an essential. And again, designed for purpose. Yes. And that's one of the most essential parts, really, isn't it? Yeah. Like for me, I look at our tools and I think, well, they're there to do a job, and that's exactly the job that you're going to get them to do. That's right. And one of the biggest aspects of jewellery making is that you want your finish to be the very best it can be. Whatever your skill level, you want it to be the very best it can be. But you can only demand that if you're using the right tools. Definitely. I think it's one thing that if you start doing it from the very beginning, it's something that you always do. So it'll be a habit to pick up your pliers, make sure that you just tweak in the ends. You know, little things like that. If you do them from the very beginning, then it's something that will just become natural to you to do, and then as you progress,
it will just progress with you.
And it's that natural attention to detail that you can achieve with these kind of tools that can really make the difference.
Definitely.
Really make the difference. So you have here an amazing deal. I've got to remind you that this is an exclusive deal for the masterclass. If you don't get this tool combination now, I cannot guarantee this offer again. And I want to be absolute categoric that this is an exclusive deal. And in particular with the brand new Hammerhead multi-head, it's a really, really cool tool.
Yeah.
It's not something that we've used particularly a lot of, which is silly of us really, because it's opportunity to get so many different textures, so many different different feelings to your wire in particular. It's endless, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's good also because we've got the ring mandrels, and the ring mandrels are obviously metal. So again, they're really good if you want to do a nice wire ring using the thicker wire. You can then put the wire on the ring mandrel and hammer it lightly on the mandrel, and having that smaller hammer, you can get that. It's easier to use rather than trying to hit it with the bigger hammer, you know.
Yeah, you're talking about this hammer, which of course has its job as well.
Definitely.
As you know, because you use this hammer on it. But just to show you the size of the heads are totally different. So you are looking at getting two different resulting looks from your jewellery.
Yeah.
From two different tools, and again, it's getting the right tool for the job.
Yeah,
definitely. It's as simple as that. If you're building a house, you use the right tool to build the right part of the house. You know, you don't use a screwdriver to knock in a nail. You don't. So why would you use? Use the right tool for the job.
Definitely. Definitely.
Having said that, I probably did somewhere along the lines when I was renovating my house use a screwdriver to knock in a nail. I probably somewhere along the lines couldn't find what I wanted.
Needs must. But,
exactly.
But the other thing is also that goes in the ring mandrel case, because obviously when I come up, I travel up and I have to bring all my stuff up. Well, I like to use my own tools. So I actually put all of that in my ring mandrel leather pouch. I've got it all kept together then.
How do you fit it in?
It just goes in.
Does it just screw?
It just goes in. You just literally just pop it in. It won't go in now. Take off one of the ends. It just fits in. All the ends in.
I applaud your
and
efficiency.
I know, it's good for me, isn't it?
That is really good for you.
It really is. I'm proud of myself. And there you go.
Hi. Have you found? Do you know who Laura Binding is?
No, I know.
I don't know where she is, but obviously you're taking her place.
It's my one thing for the year.
That's it.
That's it. I'm done.
Done well, really well. That's fab. Yeah. That's really handy then. Good to know. Right then, you're going to crack on and show us. I've left it over there. You're going to show us that piece of jewellery that's right over there. Oh, Thomas is there. He's a man. Look at that. You're going to start, one presumes, by bringing the gems together. Yeah. Because that's the central focal point.
Yes, the focus, what we start off with is, I mean, the strand's lovely and every single stone is different. So, you know, you can choose some quite patterned stones or some plain ones, you know, it's up to you. But you choose your 3 stones. Yeah. And then I'm just going to position them how I'm going to want them to be into the shape. Okay. So with this we get 1.5 wire.
Yes, you are going to get this as a bundle deal. I will do that for you shortly, which has got lots of people. I mean, well over half the stock's been allocated on the tools. In fact, 3/4 of the stock now, apparently. They've got the stock's already gone on the tools. We just want to give everybody the chance to get the tools, and then we'll give you the bundle for actually making this specific piece of jewellery. Exactly, so we will give you all the way. Okay, we are literally down to very last of stock of the tools, so if you don't mind just giving us your patience on that, we will make sure that you get it very, very soon indeed, and we'll get to the gemstones. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, we've got 1.5 in the antique bronze wire, and this wire is lovely. It goes with the colours, we just felt really complemented it. Yeah, I agree. So what I want to do is probably take off about 3/4 metre?
3/4 of a metre, see. I miss you being my measuring guide. What I'm going to just show you quickly is, if you notice, with these pliers, what I've done is I've actually got the flat side, and I've turned them around in my hand so that the flat side's at the top. And when I cut it, see how it's cut the wire? I don't know if you can see that, it's cut it quite flat. Oh yeah. So it hasn't actually cut it on an angle. In an angle, so it's cut it flat.
Is that the difference with those pliers then? Because you've gone in from the other side.
Yeah, I've gone in from the other side. So by doing that, it gave me a nice flat edge. Nice. So it's just a little thing that I discovered quite happily. Yeah, cool. Okay, so then what I want to do is start off by taking what's going to be the bottom drop stone. I'm just going to thread that onto this wire, and that's, like I said, the nice thing about this wire, these stones, is they will go, this one won't, on the wires. They will. They do go on nicely. I've probably just chosen one that's slightly misdrawn. Yeah, see. Could you just cut me another one off, please? Okay. And what I want to do is bring that sort of roughly to the centre of the wire. And then I'm just going to position it like this. Thank you very much. And what I want to do is just bring the wire, and you can see how I'm just using my hands, and this wire will manipulate quite easily. I mean, it's a stronger wire, but it will still move nicely. And just with your hands, all I'm doing is I'm just using my hand and pulling the wire into the angle I want it to go in. And I've often said, whenever you're using the wire, go with the flow that the wire's going in. You can see that the wire's got that natural direction. Yeah. Just go with that. Okay. Using my thumb, I'm sorry, my finger on my thumb, I'm just going to gently pull the wire into sort of a little swirl. And you can, this is completely freeform, so you can do as many swirls or one or two, is up to you. Okay, now you can leave this plain if you want, or if you want to hammer it, what you can do is take in your steel block. And what I want to do with this interchangeable one hammer, you've got a couple of different little shapes. You've got a round one and almost sort of like a little bullet shaped one. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm just they'll each give a different finish. Yeah, and obviously this one's going to get in easier. It's because of the sort of shape of it. Metal then, are they? Yeah, they're metal. They look, yeah, you get a little... rubbery, don't they? Yep, they're all metal, apart from this one, which is the plastic one. Okay. Okay, so this one, like I said, is nice because you can get in at all sort of angles. This one's a little bit more sort of... Yeah. So. We will give you the chance to get the steel block later on as well within one of our bundles, just to highlight. If you haven't got the steel block, we will give you the chance. So what I'm going to do, another good thing about using thick wire is you can manipulate it quite a lot, and it won't snap as easily as the finer wire. So all I'm doing is lifting, so you can see that that was led across there like this. I'm just going to lift it. Bear in mind, you want to make sure it's the front that you hammer. Yeah. Okay, and just place it there. Try not to get my hands in the way. And this is a nice thing, you'll see how easy it is to sort of hammer. Oh, look at the finish. Yeah. I'm just doing little taps. Yeah, you're not doing a huge amount of strength about it, are you? But you're giving it enough so that it... Oh, that's a lovely finish. Texture in it. Okay. Am I allowed to show everybody the finish? Sorry, doll, but I just want to show you the finish of that so you can actually see the texture. You just see that? It just adds another... It's like almost like tarnished. Yeah. You know, burnished. And it will dull the metal slightly, and it will do this on any metal, whether it be sterling silver plate, it will slightly dull it, but you can just buff that up with a polishing cloth or something. But I quite like it that way. I do anyway. So it's got more of a vintage flair, hasn't it? And then you simply pop it back on. It will take a little bit of manipulating, but it will go on. Pop it back on, and now that's going across there, see? Okay, so now I'll move that out of the way. And you can see I've got both my wires. I've got one that's coming out at the top of the stone, and then this one here. What I'm going to do is the one that's coming across the front of the wire, I'm just going to just wrap it around. Not completely, just wrapped around, if you can see that. And then that, if I just show from the back so you can just see, it's just been wrapped around once. And now it's back up to the front. Yeah. And then now that's locked it. And that's just locked into place now. Yep, that. Okay, so it's nice and easy. So now, again, just using your hands, I don't tend to use my pliers very often with this. I'm just literally forming a loop. So I'm just pulling it around to form a loop and bring that wire back to there. Yeah. And I'm going to repeat on the other side. And again, the wire is almost dictating which way to turn it, isn't it? And, you know, run your fingers across it. These don't have to be equal, because if you look at the necklace, you can't actually see these. What these become in effect... Oh, they're right underneath. Yeah, and they become a little bit of an anchoring point that you can use to thread your wires through, and obviously to sew it together. I'm going to profile that, guys, so that we can see. Can you see how it's 2 layers of wire? So we're actually working for the underbase at the moment. We're not even onto the decorative aspect of it. No, this is just building the structure up. Okay. Okay, so don't worry too much. They don't need to be perfect to look at. You know, they're just there in a way just to help you secure it. Yeah. So I'm just going to put one of the other beads. And they are going on. It's just been a bit stubborn. Okay, so that's that one. If that does happen and you've got the time, use your bead your reamer out of the toolkit. Just all it is sometimes the way they're drilled. That's all. but they will all go on.
Now, just while you're adding that in, and I don't want to interrupt too much because I appreciate we're right in the midst of the masterclass, but in the same sense, obviously, probably there'll be a lot of people going, I want the wire, I want the ingredients.
That's
so
fine.
I do beg your pardon, but I'm just going to give you the chance to get the bundle itself. We'll give you everything that you can see Laura's working with, gemstones and the wire. You won't need anything else other than that. No, nope. This is it.
Just that bundle and that bundle is all I've used.
Job is done.
Apart from my toolkit.
Job is done. Therefore, let's give you the chance to get. Now, the quality of these larger centerpieces, they are truly exquisite. Every single one has its own pattern and print. I mean, we're talking real, this is masterpiece qualities. And I know this is a master class, but just think of this as a workmanship of Mother Nature from every single one of these. There's their own pattern, their own print, perfect, like a watercolor on some of these as well. Look at the banding. I mean, exquisite. From a sunset of a gemstone to the most extraordinary, unique band, and that feels like it's looking like a sunset. This one looks like it's been sliced through, to almost like a slicing through of a tree to see the banding of its age.
It's gorgeous.
Exquisite qualities, truly unique. The size of these is probably what makes it so glorious. You're looking at 42 by 22. Yeah, we're looking here at a really strong, I mean, one of these would be a good pendant, wouldn't it? Yeah. Easily, you could look at a single solitaire as a centerpiece.
Definitely.
And I think one of the nicest things about this is that Botswana agate is one of our most popular, and this is almost sunset Botswana agate, which you normally get with Botswana agates, more of the steel greys, more of the cashmere colours. This is more of the sunset colours, which is really much more demanded. The sunset tones, especially for autumn. I mean, the colours are perfectly autumnal, aren't
definitely.
they? And we're matching those autumnal seasonal colours with a matching strand, which gives you the burnt oranges, citrus jaffas, and then on top of jaffas. And then the moment I would say jaffa, cake. I can't say Jaffa without going and then on top of that, you've got russet tones as well. Really gorgeous 8mm fancy agate rounds. Again, I just feel like these gems fuse in an autumnal day. I mean, I don't know whether we can get this, but if I do this for you, they're not on the strand, but if we can see this here, it literally looks like an autumn day of leaves. You know, like you could just crunch through the leaves and get those beautiful shades of oranges and browns and the caramels mixed together. That's a great quality of a strand. So 2 strands that you're going to receive are then matched by all of the wire that you've used. Yeah. Now, you have said that you reckon you could make 3 of these necklaces out of all of this wire.
Yes, because
and all the ingredients.
Yeah, because I made 2. Obviously, I made that one and the one I'm wearing. Yeah. I still had 3 of the Botswanas left. Yeah. I still had a handful of the agate left. Yeah. I still had tons of wire left.
So easily, easily 3. So if you're going to make 3 of these necklaces, maybe you wear one like Laura is, that's your centerpiece that then becomes the commission piece. You know, people will see that look on the neckline and go, wow, can you make me this? And you can go, yes, I can. There's commission 1. They wear it. Oh, that's gorgeous. Where did you get it from? So-and-so made it for me. Oh, do you think they could make me one? Second commission. And all from one bundle. Definitely. One price tag, one offer. Now you're going to get all of the wire that you need, and the wire combination here, 1.5mm gauge, which is what Laura's working with now, and that's 10 meters. 1.25mm gauge is the copper coloured, and that's almost the external detail. That's the second layer on this piece. And then we're finishing it off with your weaving and your binding with the 0.4mm gauge in your copper colour. So you're getting everything you need. This is a bundle that should be well over £40. You could easily pay over £40 for this, and that's not price comparing elsewhere. That's price comparing to our own website. So you should be paying over £40 for this bundle, and yet today, masterclass exclusive, $27.95. It's a masterclass exclusive. That means you could make a necklace for less than £10. Make this necklace for less than a tenner. That's what it's about. I mean, that's really about making your jewelry go as far as it possibly can. And Wire does that.
Definitely.
Wire has the chance to make a masterpiece, but you've only used, say, 3 of those featured gemstones and a few subsidiaries of the rounds, and that's it.
And it's not heavy to wear, you know, it's very lightweight. Obviously, I've come up on a train today and I actually had 2 people comment on it. So I had one random person in the street, sort of, you know, charity seller saying, oh, I like your necklace. And then somebody who served me a cup of coffee on the train said it as well. So, you know, it does catch people's eyes.
Because it's something different, you know, it's not a piece of jewelry that's been mashed out by a machine and sold in goodness knows which retail shop, but there's 500 in every retail shop with exactly the same look. It's something different. By the by, come on, let's move on.
Right then,
so we're looking at each one of these necklaces, less than a tenner you can make them for. Right, I like that.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've threaded both of the beads on. So it's looking pretty much like this now, okay?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I kind of, when you're doing this, work side by side. So I think I'm going to do this side, then do this side. And with this, to try and get that symmetrical look, you do that stage, then do that stage, which for me isn't very often that I do that, but for this, it's something that does work.
Yeah.
So I did take my pliers for this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them right up against the stone, and again, just bring the wire, and the only reason is I just want to create a tiny little loop. So that when I take it off, it's not a loop, it's just a little, just like a gap, so that I can use that for binding the wire on at a later stage, or if you just want to add a chain, you've got that there. And again, just going to repeat as you did here, so using your hands, just gently form that wire. You can use your pliers, just because I don't feel that you can't use the straightener. I always call them straighteners, sorry, but use these, you know, and you'll be able to get a good grip. And then again, this is a bit free form. So this is too long now, so what I'm going to do is just cut it. Again, if I would turn them around. So I've got a nice length there. And then what I want to do is just put my pliers in, and I'm just going to just form it round. So you can take a bit more time than this. Just manipulate it with your hand and your fingers. And if I can see there that that's going to be a bit big, I can still go in with my pliers and still...
You can really add detail, can't you? I'm
just trying not to get this to fly off in anyone's eyes, because that's a strong wire. So there you go, so you can still trim it at that point now.
Pretty,
okay, and again, I'm going to repeat on this side. My pliers in. Just bringing that around. So I'm not actually doing a rep, I'm just creating that gap.
Okay.
That to give you that. And again, just try to keep it symmetrical. And again, bring it around.
The nice thing is that it looks incredibly malleable, the wire.
Yeah.
For what is essentially one of our thickest gauges, it's still got that flexibility about it, hasn't it?
It is. It's still very nice and easy to work with. And again, I'm just popping my pliers in just to get that sort of shape. Use the nylon pliers to shape it round, you know, play about with it a little bit. Okay, now obviously, as you can tell on the necklace, I've hammered these, so I'm going to do exactly as I did before.
Yeah.
I'm going to lift the piece up like this. So you can see there, so I've just lifted it up, and obviously make sure that what we hammer is going to be what goes down on the front of the pendant.
Yes.
So I'm going to hammer this side.
The detail you want.
So I need it to make sure.
You're just going to do it on the edge.
It's just going to be that one.
Cool.
And again.
And you're sticking with the same hammering detail, the same head. The
same head and hammer. Yeah, I tended to use the plastic one because if I want, sometimes when you hammer it can raise the wire up. So if you want to just flatten it back down but not actually physically flatten the wire, then you can use the plastic one for that.
Now just to highlight, we have literally single quantity figures left of the tool bundle. It's sold out. Okay, tool bundle is now sold out, and well over half, and I mean quite significantly over half of the wire and the gemstone bundle is gone. So if you do want this is a very popular masterclass. Definitely worth to give you the chance to get it.
So as you can see, what's good about this is I'm able to really get in there, that tiny little bit there. So I've put the hammer down. If I was to try and hit that, it's not going to work. You shouldn't really hammer where wire cross. So, you know, I need to avoid that area. So when I'm hammering, I'm just going around the outside of it. So, I mean, I could use that, but again, it's still a big area.
Yeah.
So you can see the advantage is how much easier it is.
Detail, isn't it?
So again, just popping that across. And now you can see the difference. So you've got one side and there's the other.
So you can actually see the hammering instantly, can't you? You can just see that detail.
But you notice I didn't flatten the wire before I textured it. I just textured it straight away, and it will slightly thicken the wire anyway, but you know, I didn't flatten it first. Yeah. So I'll just very, very quickly, you can do this really quick.
Yeah, you don't have to be too precise about it, because it is just adding detail.
There you go, that's how quick it is. When you pop it back on, just make sure you keep your little loops. Okay, so there you go. That, in effect, is the base of the actual pendant. Been terrorised by a fly. Okay, so now what I want to do is add the detail. And what I actually did next was down the side of the sort of middle bit is the two copper woven sections.
Yes, this detail here.
Yeah. And they're the bits that I did next. So 1.25 wire.
And this is the copper finish.
This is the copper, because I really love the copper and antique bronze together. They go really lovely together. So you want to cut off probably about, I don't know, what's that, probably about 8 centimetres, 8-9 centimetres. So you want to cut 4 lengths of the same length. So to do that, I just literally will cut one off and then cut the others against it. Doesn't matter if they're exactly the same or not. Okay.
How many did you say you're doing? Sorry.
4, because there's 2 on each side.
Oh yeah, 2 on each side, right. So you need, like, these are the runners.
Yeah, these are the base wires. I always refer to as the base wires.
Okay.
Okay, and again we've got the 0.4 wire. This is my weaving wire, in effect, what I'm going to use it for this, okay? So you can do this from the reel, but because I'm obviously going to be showing it, I'm just going to cut a length off. If you wanted to cut a length off, probably again about 3/4 of a metre. Okay. But you can do this from the actual reel. Up to a point, actually, thinking about it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is a quick weave. I'm a bit rubbish with weaves. I think this is a basket weave, but there's so many different names for weaves out there. So
a pretty one.
It's a nice weave. It's very pretty. It's a slight variation of it anyway. Whenever I do woven sections, I always start with 1 wire and then I build up. So if there's going to be 2 wires in the weave, I'll add the second wire. If there's going to be 3, you add it at stages. So start from 1 wire
and then build
it up. Otherwise it gets too fiddly. And see how the wire's got its natural curve. Go with that. Make sure both your wires sit on top of each other, following that natural curve. If you've got them like this, it gets messy and it's harder. Okay. So what I want to do is just take leave a little tail, holding that with my thumb. And what I'm doing is, you notice I'm working from the end, so I've got all this space to work with. I'm just going to wrap it around 1, 2, 3 times, and all that's doing is anchoring my wire, my weaving wire, to the base wire. Okay, so now I'm going to add my second wire. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm staggering it slightly, so that I've got a nice little space for me to put my wires between, my weaving wire in between the wires, because there's a gap. Because if they were like this, it would be harder to distinguish. By doing that, I can see. Okay, so my wire's here, it's at the front now. It's going to go over, all the way around, both wires. It's going to go back over the front, but I'm actually just going to go through the middle and back over the top wire. And then I'm going to go down the back and then through the middle around that wire. So if I hold that up, you can see what I've just done. Can you see that? Okay, so that's it. So you can see there's 2 wires and then there's a single wrap around both wires. Can you see that? Okay. So I'll try and just show it again slowly. See if I'll do a couple so you can see, because I've got pre-made ones of these, so I can show you. So, okay. So when you reverse it, you lose track of where you are, because I was here. Okay, so I'm going to go over both the wires, all the way around once, back up to the front. But instead of going all the way around, I'm going to go through the middle.
Up and over.
Up over the front, top wire. Back down the back. And then around the bottom wire. Okay. Then around both again. All the way around. then back up the front.
Yeah.
Through the middle wire.
Yeah. Up and over again.
Up and over the top.
Yeah.
Around the bottom wire.
Yeah.
And then back around.
Just create a beautiful pattern.
Creates a really nice pattern. So I'll see if I can do it like this. That's it, there we go. So I'm just trying, bear with me as I am doing it in reverse. So I've gone all the way around, all the way around again. So we've got 2 on the front. So you can see there's 2 on the front.
Yeah.
So now,
tuck it in.
That's it, around this one, which in effect is the top wire. Bear in mind I'm doing this in reverse.
Yeah.
Just going around the back.
So tuck it through again.
Back through again.
And then up and over.
Over. Both wires.
Yeah.
Back around, through the middle. Always push it up nice and close.
Yeah.
And then round both.
Once you get into it, it makes total sense.
It's very easy once you get used to it, okay? And I do appreciate it. It's one to take a bit of time with, but the effect looks really nice.
Yeah, I've got it now, though. You keep doing it and I'll keep doing this for you.
You're going to keep doing it for me. Okay, so basically do 2 sections of those, but what you want to do is probably about, I've got some that I've already done. I mean, this is completely up to you. For me, I've got the wires, I've got the, what you will do with that weave is, another thing just to mention, keep your tension. What's your tension?
I was just about to say that, you've got it much tighter than I can do it. So is it just like you've just got to keep it taut to
but you also don't want it to be so tight you can't move that, the wires, because what you need to do is pull the base wires up a bit and then you can move the weave down.
Okay.
So if you see on this section here, although I started up here, my weave is in the middle, it's just because I've moved it, okay? So you want to look at it and think, the idea is that it's going to be placed here, okay? So I want to attach this wire to that little loop that we made before. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, when you're happy with the lengths of wires that you've got, place them both there, make sure they're about the same length. For me, I did about 1.5 centimetres, okay, but it's optional. So on this one, I've got an
Did you say 1.5 centimetres?
Yeah.
I think 1.5 inches.
Oh, inches, yeah,
1.5 inches.
Oh, it's your blondness. Okay, so I've placed it there. So what I've done is I've stopped. So I've done 1 wrap all the way around and I've gone up. Now this is where I would normally just go around this 1 wire here. What I'm actually going to do is thread it through that little link that we created on the side of one of the stones. If you can see that, just there. This is a tiny bit fiddly because you're securing the wires, but you can see just there, if I move my hands, just to that link there. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to wrap it around the top wire and then thread it back through again. It's almost like I'm sewing it. I'm just going to do that again. And then I picked my weave back up. So if I can just show you that, you should be able to see what I've just done. So you can see how I've just bound it with 2 wraps to that wire and the top base wire. Then what I'm going to do is just finish up, continue my, you're having fun there.
I'm dead proud of myself.
Yeah, see?
I totally forgot. I totally forgot that I was actually meant to be paying attention. I was so paying attention I know, I suddenly remembered that I was on telly. They just gone, Vicki, look really sure. Look, it was really, I was like totally mesmerised by my creation.
That's cool. Oh, I'm impressed I taught you that.
I'm so impressed that you've taught me that too.
I'm impressed that I've
like,
wow.
That's like a miracle for me to have actually got that. We all know that's it, I'm peaked now.
See, something in the air.
Yeah, shan't touch it anymore.
Okay, so you can see I've done that, and all I've done is I've just done a couple more sort of the normal weave on the 2 wires, and then I'm just going to bind it again to that top wire. So I'm going to do 2 little sections of binding it.
You're doing the same bind?
Yeah.
The bind that I can actually do now.
Yeah. You're so chuffed. Okay, and then so we're just going to, and then just a couple more of that weave. It doesn't matter if you lose the sort of pattern too much at this stage, because this bit will sort of disappear into the into where we're going to finish it off.
Yeah.
Okay, and whenever you are finishing a weave, as we anchored on,
yeah,
you anchor off. Anchor off.
How do I anchor it off?
Just exactly the same. A couple of wraps around 1 wire.
Oh, just around the same one?
Yeah, just around the same wire. It doesn't have to be the same wire you started with, just find a natural point that you can wrap the wire.
Fine.
Okay.
Oh, and that's just going to hold?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Snip and it's done. Obviously, whenever you snip the wire, I always use the sort of just the flat nose pliers and just sort of tuck in any edges. This goes back to what we were saying about just little things. You know, there might be a tiny little sharp edge there, and I'm just going to sort of scrunch that in. All right. So that is that one, and I'm just very quickly going to attach this one. So
while you do that, can I do the next deal?
Yeah, if I can just show you quickly just how that has looked, so you can see you've got the two sections. There's just 4 wraps of wire going around there.
Back for me a little bit, just so we can. There we go.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. It's in reverse. It's often tricky, isn't it? There you go. You can see how that binds on. I like that you've got that movability.
Yeah, you still need to be able to move it, but it's secure. Yeah. So whilst you're doing that, I'll do this.
Perfect. Right then. I have got to tell you, and I've been told very specifically to tell you, that I'm about to do a masterclass exclusive, right? This is a one-off, right? I've been told that I have to say this over and over again. This is a one-off deal. This is a one-off deal. It is a one-off deal. I think it's fair to say that I have to tell you it's a one-off deal. That's because what's about to happen on the price on this is probably not going to happen any other time. Can I say it one more time so I know that I've definitely done my job? This is a one-off deal. It is a masterclass one-off deal for the steel block and the chasing hammer. You are going to get both of these for one price tag. Now the price tag is quite categorically, Tom, what is it? A one-off deal. Exactly. It is a one-off deal. Tom, I wasn't quite sure whether you were going to get that one right there. I was thinking, does he know what it's going to be? It's a one-off deal, Tom. I tell you that, lad. I think, to be honest, Tom's just a little bit worried about tomorrow with his sequins for the Strictly Come Jewellery Making. I've already told him he's wearing ruffles and sequins, and he has no option. I've talked to them all. They have no options tomorrow. Now then, one-off deal. Big opportunity. Steel block. Chasing hammer, the essentials to add detail. You'll have seen a number of our professionals working with these. Some of our big jewellery makers in the wire world, the likes of Gemma Crow, you'll have seen, of course, Laura using it, Rachel Norris using it. In fact, I think Karen used it just today. So it's fair to say this is an essential to any wire worker. It is your steel block and your chasing hammer for one price tag only. Oh, now that is an exclusive deal, $9.95. That is less than £10 for both. Not for one or the other, but for both. You've got that. I know. Yeah. Did you pay a lot of?
For my very first hammer on its own, I paid more than that combined, and it's broken, and I've now got one of those finally.
Yeah, I know, sorry.
Oh, no. I thought you meant the original. I've been attacked by a fly.
I was just going to say, just so you know, Laura wasn't going to hit me there, although it did look like you were just about to whack me.
Yeah. No, sorry, you meant the new one. Yeah, I meant my old one.
Don't hit the presenter.
No, I didn't. I think I paid that for it, yeah.
Yeah. That's not even staff cost, just so you know. You've got it better than staff cost. Yours for the deal, $9.95. Congratulations, 0800 644 655. An amazing deal. We couldn't buy it for this price tag. That's how good the deal is, which is why I have to tell you, I think it's fair to say I might have said this enough, but it is a one-off deal. Right then, where are we?
Right, all I'm doing is, with these agate, some will go through and some won't go on 1.25 wire, and that's fine, because the ones that we don't, put to one side, and then we use that later for decorating the front of the pendant. So you can use them both, but just for some reason some would go through and some won't.
It's just the size of the drill holes.
Yeah, I had exactly the same at home. So, but again, you still have enough, because you only really need, I think, 4, probably 8, just to go on the wires. So what I'm doing is just popping them on. Yeah, be gentle with them. I wasn't very gentle.
And so you just need to and it literally is just a case of, some of the drill holes are going to be larger than others, and just finding the ones that are larger to go through the point, because it's 1.25 gauge wire. It's not a small wire. No. And actually our drill holes are normally very, what's the word, generous. Yeah. But 1.25 wire is a thicker wire. It's quite hard to get
a lot of gemstones standardly to go through it. So I'll just find a couple, and then obviously with the others we'll just imagine they're there. But they will go on. They just don't want to for me today. So this is just, again, a bit sort of free form. Again, something to kind of do in that side. But what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take that fly down in a minute. I'm just forming the wire around. And what I want to do is just wrapping it around the bead. All I did was just bring that round. And again, with that little end there, form a sort of a little, almost like a little loop, okay, and then repeat on the other side. So I'll just see if I can pop another bead on now very quickly. And this is all just going to tie and come together now, but there we go. Again, use your flat pliers, and then you can just pull it on and use that to grip. Yeah. And again, just bring it around. You can see I'm just using my hands. Have to be uniform, and again just bring it around. And again, what I would do now is hammer it. So this is where I would start. I would just hammer these little ends. It's just the little details like this. And what I want is, this is where you can start shaping it. So when you bring it together like that, see? Yeah. It's starting to become like that. But what you can also do is hook it through. You know, we had these base wires earlier, these loops. What you can do is bring it through the loops, and actually, this is a bit fiddly, but you can see there how it can hook through. And then that's anchored that there. Do you see? That's just...
So this is literally just anchoring in, isn't it?
And it's just securing it all together. So you just repeat on that side. Okay, and just see if I can show you. That's it. Just move that right side. Just lock it in. And then just bring it around. Obviously, you would have hammered it before you do that, because you don't really want to start hammering once the pieces are locked. And again, with this one, just pop a bead on either side, and it's just a bit of playing about, seeing how you think it's going to look. Bringing the wire all the way around. You see, I'm just using my hand for most of this, even though it's the stronger wire.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, so you can see there, just bring that in. You can lock that in as well if you want. And it's just all about repeating, so I'd do exactly the same on that side. Okay, so that's basically what we will do there. On the top part here, you've got your wires here, and again, just add a bead. Yeah. Add a bead, swirl, and decorate. So you can see that just by looking at the picture, at the actual necklace side.
Here, pardon.
Yeah, that's it. So you can see I've just put a bead on, and I've just done a swirl.
Last swirl.
And that's all that is.
Hammered?
Hammered. Okay. Very lightly. Be careful of the bead, but again, that's the advantage of the tiny hammer. And this bit here, these bits here are going to become what we're going to hang the sort of chain on, in effect. Yeah,
in fact, it's probably quite good to see it on the neckline itself, because you could see how you're linking into the actual torque style necklace. This is the link on link.
Yeah, so I've got like a link one. This is like my catching effect, and this one will be locked. This one stays locked, and this one is what I will use to take it on and off. Yeah. And again, this is just a simple spiral. Just popping the pliers in and just forming it round. You can take a bit more time than I am, but you can see. So it's just like that. Hammer it. Mm-hmm. Now the advantage, you can see, you probably can't see that on camera very well, but that's not very. If you put your finger at sharp edges and things, just pop your pliers and it straightens it all nice out. Yeah. Okay. Repeat on that side. That's all you would do. That's the top part done. In effect, that's the frame done.
Because we've got rid of that. We've done that piece in. We've done that, which is the next part. Yes, I'm there. I'm with you.
Does that make sense? I think that should cover everything.
Yep, we're there with you.
And so the last little bit that we do now is just, if you look at it, it's still not secure. So if you see here, these bits are lifting up. You know, these bits, if I just imagine that's got a bead on and spiral it out of the way. You don't have to add beads, look. It looks pretty without beads, yeah, exactly. You know, it's just preference. Okay, so what this needs to be secured. And this is where I use the finer wire, and you simply add it on and wrap it a couple of times. You can do this because there's a little gap there. Okay, just to anchor it. And now all I'm going to do is add, remember we went through all of those beads that didn't go on the wire?
Yeah, we'll have all of those on the thinner wire.
Pop them on the thinner wire. Just bring it across, and this again is just having a look at it, seeing how you feel it needs to go. Pull it nice and tight together, seeing in effect just sewing it together. Okay, and just sew all these sort of pieces with this finer wire. So I'm just literally just wrapping that wire, oops, there. So if I just show you what I've done there, you can see that, okay? And then this is all I'm going to do is just keep adding beads and sewing it on. So I would go and maybe want to secure this bit. So you can see there, I'm just going to go through the loops that we've created and sew a bead on there. And that's all you do. And if you want to work the wire to go around to these loops here and add a bead, it's all about just working the wire around and adding beads, and that will sew all of that together nice and tight.
So if I'm taking it, if you've got your wire, are you in a specific way bringing the bottom with the top?
No.
So you know how you've just brought those two together here. How are you then going to start working with this bit, or is it all in this upper half? Are you working
all
here?
In, yeah, it will all naturally work its way down. So if I turn it over, I'll come up through that little hole there. It really is just like sewing. And then I'll add another bead here, and I might actually add it there to secure that bit. It's looking at it and thinking that's still not quite as secure as I'd like it, so now it's looking more secure. But what I might do is actually sew it to this little section here,
right, which
will make it more secure again. So it's just literally put it nice and tight. Play about with it a little bit, and then that wire can then come. You want to obviously keep the wire as neat as you can, and you don't want lots of the sort of wire to be shown.
Yes.
So you want to try and hide any sort of work that you do with a bead, or just a couple of neat wraps so people can see it, but it's still neat. So see now, that's secure, even more secure.
Yes.
And if I want to bring this wire over here and add a bead, I just work it down here and add a bead. And then because I've got a nice long piece of wire, I might add it to that bit now. So you can see I'm just going to bring this little section across as well. Put that down for you to see, sorry. And then that will sort of secure that bit in. And then I can bring my wire across the back, and I'd see my wires coming out here now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I would do a couple of wraps each time, maybe come back up through the middle, add another bead, come back over here, but you're just in effect sewing it all together.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah? Then that is basically it. That's your whole piece done. Then you just need to make your torque, in effect, which again I've used a 1.5 antique bronze wire for.
Yes, and you said that you use one side as a lock-in, and then the other is more of your latch.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I just literally wrap it around my head. I think it's going to be about round to my neck with a little bit of extra, because you're going to be sort of twirling it.
So that's going to be about 14, 15 inches, isn't it?
Because you don't want it to sit too far down. And then you literally create another spiral, just like this, and that's it. And that one spiral will interlock with that spiral, and then you can just close that one up.
Yes.
And then those two can close up and they stay together, and then you just make on the other side a sort of almost like as if you were going to make a clasp, a nice little close loop there. And again just spiral it around like that, and then that will sit into the actual spiral. They kind of lock into each other.
Which is this one, is it?
Yeah. And again, just hammered. In fact, I've got one there that I've already done. So you can see that it's been hammered. And then that will just lock in, and that just finishes it off. So that would have just been lightly hammered, exactly the same.
Excuse me.
Just like that. So it goes from that to that. And it's strong as well. And you can see the texture on it.
Yeah, you really can see it. I like that vintage feel to it. I like that hammered quality.
That's all you would do. And that would in effect go in as a like that. See how it, if I can show you that, it just would slide in and hold, and it just slide back out.
That's fabulous.
And that's really it.
Now I have got a couple of text messages, and we did say for people to ask questions, and Wendy's been in touch. She says, hi all, I'm loving today, had lost my mojo, has been ill, but I'm so inspired. Can I ask Laura how much would she sell the necklace for? And that's Wendy King in Mottram.
I would probably sell this one for about £40, because it took me an hour, just under an hour, 55 minutes odd to make. And obviously the materials, at the cost of what they are, I could make 3 out of this one bundle. So if you put it into perspective like that.
Yeah. And I think that one of the nicest things is that really in perspective of the quality of the jewellery that you've already said, you know, you had people making comment about it in just in that small journey that you've made, and that's because it is so different. It literally is a bit of a work of art, so you know, you may as well indulge in that, and you know, people will appreciate that and never undervalue the work that's gone in, you know. And one of the things I always think is that because of our great costings on the likes of the wire and the gemstones, often people then say, well, that's the relationship to how much I should be charging. You know, it cost me £10 to the ingredients, therefore I shall only charge £12 because of it. And actually I say, no, you know, don't underestimate how low the prices is that we put. Go to your boutiques, go and do some price research, and of course it is location dependent. I think that that's something to be wary of as well, because I've lived in both north and south, and so I know there is a price difference. There's no point pretending that there isn't, but in exactly the same sense, never undervalue your workmanship. You deserve to be paid the quality of your craftsmanship and the ingredients that you've put in, which are genuine gemstones. And you know, pieces like this really are a work of art.
And they're all individual, even repeating them. It's never going to be exactly the same. There's always that individuality. Yeah,
exactly. Then I've got Shirley in Sussex saying, bought a set of 6 labradorite cabochons from JewelleryMaker recently. There's a stunning large pear-shaped one. What can I do with it? Not drilled at all. And that's Shirley from Horsham. What do you think?
For me, because labradorite is such a stunning stone, you don't want to take away from that beauty, so I would probably net and cage it, and that is on the third wire work DVD as to how to do that, and you don't need to have a drill hole to do that. You would just, it just gets held in with the...
You nestle it almost, don't you?
You literally knit in effect around it, and so that's what I would probably do with that.
I think that's a great idea, actually, because that would be a perfect setting. Perfect setting. Let's have a look. I've now got Susie in Aberdeen saying, not done any wire work yet. I have wire and stones. Can this technique be done with smaller stones and thinner wires if you don't have the 1.25 and the 1.5 wire?
It could, but I would probably say not the torque part, this part here. I would say to go for chain, if not. It does look just as nice with chain, but I wouldn't recommend hammering less than 0.8 wire for the texture, because the finer the wire, the more likely it is to snap, and also the less likely you are to see the detail. So as long as it's 0.8 or above, then hammer it, but you don't even have to hammer it, you know, but yeah, you certainly can create the center part using that.
Fabulous, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you, Susie, for that question. Just to recap a couple of details. Steel block and hammer there for £9.95, and on top of that, let's not underestimate, everything that you've seen that as Laura's been making has come from this one bundle. In terms of the ingredients, you are getting your feature size sunset Botswana agate with the matching agate strand of the rounds as well. Beautiful burnt oranges, those steel greys, the chocolate, the caramels, the bronzes. A fantastic luxury of gems. I mean, those are 42 by 22 millimeter, significant centerpieces. And Laura so rightly said that actually the amazing thing is that you can make at least 3 of these necklaces out of this one strand combination. So it really is quite a significant attribute to have big gemstones that'll go a long way. Adding into that, of course, the 3 lots of wire. That includes the 1.5 in the antique bronze, the 1.25 in your copper colour, and to finish it all off, you've got the 0.4mm gauge in the copper colour to get the final result. £27.95, over £40 you should be paying. That's over £40 you should be paying for £27.95. You've got it. That's just how we go. That is a masterclass exclusive, an absolute masterclass, and I'm sure you you'll agree with us. The look that it achieves and the amazing techniques that we've just learnt today have been a fantastic masterclass. Really, really enjoyed that one. Really nice to know that freehand with the detail of the hammering as well. Of course, just to remind you that multi-head hammer has now sold out within the bundle. So if you've lost out on that one, I did say first come, first served. And of course, the one only deal, that hammer and the block, a bit of a wire work must have, $9.95. But for literally, you've got probably seconds left to get it. Congratulations, and thank you so much to Laura for her brilliant show today. We'll be back at 5 o'clock this evening with The Late Show. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.